Friends, the executive order is in effect suspending immigration services for 60 days for certain relatives of U.S. citizens and green card holders. In this video, I'm going to talk about my 4 tips on how you and your family can really still move forward even during this time. Stay tuned. Friends, thanks for watching this video. I'm Latoya McBean Pompey, an immigration lawyer who work in New York, but we have clients all over the world. And I'm also the founder of Smart Immigration Academy. Friends, subscribe to McBean Immigration TV so that each week you can be the first, well, if you hit the notification bell, you'll be the first to get notice of my videos each week. And then, of course, as usual, go over to Instagram, follow me at McBean Immigration Law for my daily updates about immigration and maybe even my life, but follow me on Instagram. Let's get into it. The president signed an executive order that suspends immigration for 60 days for people who are outside of the country, who are going through consular process. They're going through the U.S. Embassy to come here, but he suspended immigration services for certain people for 60 days. Now, what I want to focus in on is families. I want to focus on your family who might be impacted by this. And I know other people are impacted by this as well, but my focus is families. My mission is to bring people to America to be with their family and to stay together permanently in America. So who is impacted by this 60-day suspension? And firstly, we know that relatives of U.S. citizens are impacted by this. Parents of U.S. citizens, adult children of U.S. citizens, as well as siblings of U.S. citizens are impacted by this 60-day suspension. And when I say children, adult children, I'm referring to children who are 21 and older. So if you're 21 and older and your parent, your U.S. citizen parent petitioned for you, you fall into this 60-day suspension. Now, who else is impacted by this? Relatives of green card holders, specifically spouse, and also children of green card holders are also impacted by this. Children who are under 21 and unmarried, and also children who are adults who are 21 and over, they are also impacted by this. And so this touches quite a bit of people, and I know that other people are relieved that this 60-day suspension does not impact them, specifically those who are here in the U.S. who are going through change of status, extension of stay, or adjustment of status, or folks who are filing for asylum. Those individuals are not impacted by this executive order. And also, if you're outside of America and you're trying to come in through the asylum process, it doesn't impact you as well. Now, the question is, now that we know who this impacts, right? The question is, well, what can be done? What steps can these families take to ensure that they could still come to America? So I have 4 ideas that I'm going to share with you in this video. The first idea, friend, is that you should still move forward with your application or your petition. If your relative is caught up in this 60-day suspension, keep in mind that this is a temporary suspension. Although we know that President Trump said in the executive order that around 50 days after the issuance of the executive order, he's going to take another look at this issue and he's going to meet with his top advisors, his secretary cabinet officials to determine whether they should extend this or not. So we know that that's in the executive order, so there is a possibility that it will be extended. But we also know right now that it is temporary. Even if they do extend it, it is temporary because our laws here in America permits green card holders and U.S. citizens to petition for their relatives abroad. So that is in our laws. So he cannot stop immigration services permanently for your relatives. So just keep that in mind. This is temporary. So therefore, you should still keep moving forward with your application or petition, depending on where you are in the process, right? So if you have an I-130 out there, which is a petition for your relative, follow up with USCIS. If USCIS sends you requests for additional evidence or anything like that, follow up promptly with those requests so that USCIS can approve your I-130. But if your relative is now at the NVC stage, which is the National Visa Center stage, and they're going through that process, follow up promptly as well with all of those steps that NVC is prompting you to take, right? Assemble all of your financial support and evidence and other evidence and get your application in as soon as possible to the NVC. Follow up with all of those. Don't become discouraged and stop. No, keep moving forward. Now, will your relative get an appointment notice to show up at a U.S. embassy for an interview during this 60-day suspension? No, they're not going to be interviewed. We understand that. However, they could still move forward. They could still take the steps necessary to do everything on their end to ensure that their process is still moving forward despite the fact that the suspension is in place. So that's tip number one. Keep moving forward. Don't stop your immigration process. Tip number two. This one is directed to green card holder petitioners. Green card holder petitioners, you should become a U.S. citizen. If you are eligible for naturalization, don't sit on it any longer. Now, I'm a lawyer, right? And so I hear all sorts of stories every day. And I know that the excuse that some people have is, well, actually I have a criminal record and I'm concerned about that. If I apply for naturalization, how will, my criminal record be treated? Am I going to be at risk for deportation? And so you might be out there and thinking, I don't want to take the step towards naturalization because I'm afraid of deportation or removal. And that is a valid concern. But then go the next step forward, friends. The next step in the process is speak with a lawyer to analyze your criminal record and let the lawyer help you to determine that, it's too risky. You cannot apply for naturalization because if you apply, it's going to put you at risk for removal. Or in some cases, the lawyer may say to you, oh, this was just a very, very minor one-time incident. You paid your fine or whatever the situation might have been, and there's no risk to you with respect to being put in removal. So let the lawyer analyze it and determine that for you. But you might also be saying, well, I have tax issues, I owe the IRS money, or there's some other character issues and I don't think I'm going to get through. Work with a lawyer on those issues so that you can determine whether your fear is well-founded or not. Is it a real issue that you should be concerned with or not? Because you don't want to have some issue lingering in your mind that's really not an issue that's going to stop you from becoming a naturalized citizen. So work with a lawyer on that. Give our office a call. I do these analysis all the time. Give us a call and book your appointment, and we'll go ahead and look at your issue for you. So, but you want to become a U.S. citizen if you're eligible and you're petitioning for your relative. Now, you might also be thinking, well, if I were to apply for citizenship now, my relative is caught up in this 60-day suspension. If I applied for citizenship now, it's not going to make a difference because it's only 60 days, right? However, as I said earlier, we know that it is 60 days, but the president indicated that he's going to take another review of this and he may extend it. So just get your stuff in the process regardless, right? Even if the suspension was not in place and you're eligible for citizenship, get it in the system, get your citizenship so that you could free yourself from the immigration system. And stuff like this will not impact you or your relatives in the future because, you've gotten your citizenship and at least your close relatives can be with you here in America, your wife or your husband, and certainly your children. So work on citizenship. Tip number 3, if your relative already has a visitor's or tourist visa that allows him or her to travel to the U.S., just know that that person can still continue to use that visa to travel here to visit you. So nothing in this executive order targets directly those of you out there with a non-immigrant visa, you can still travel to the US. And so if your green card holder wife or husband has a visitor's visa, just remember that he or she can still use that visa to come here and visit you during this 60-day suspension. Tip number 4, remember public charge. Friends, public charge is still in effect, and it's touching your relatives who are going through the consular process. So don't forget that even after this suspension passes and your relative gets an opportunity to go to that U.S. embassy for an interview, he or she really need to be well prepared to handle public charge questions and scrutiny. And so don't become too distracted by this 60-day suspension and you fail to then prepare yourself or your relative adequately for public charge, because public charge is what's going to keep them out of America. Remember that. It will keep them out of America whether there's this 60-day suspension or not. So don't forget, the elephant in the room is still public charge. Work with a lawyer to prepare your case really, really well and to prepare your relative for their interview at the U.S. Embassy so that they could get through public charge and come here and be with you. So friends, I hope you found this video helpful, and be sure to share it with other people. And don't lose heart, don't give up, but move forward with your case as much as possible. Keep things moving forward. Become a naturalized citizen petitioner. If you're a green card holder and you're eligible, become a citizen. Don't sit on this any longer. Also, have your relatives visit you here in America using their visitors or tourist visa if they have one. And then lastly, friends, keep public charge always before you and prepare very, very well for your public charge scrutiny. So thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.